Now let's talk about domains and that display URL that shows up in your ad, the green text, and some tricks for it. Google gives us this tremendous free gift. We're allowed to customize whatever's after our domain name, so domain name / and then we can put whatever we want, up to several characters, 20, 25 characters, whatever fits in there, depending on how long our domain name is. And of course, if we put something that's too long, Google will only show a shorter version of it, so it kind of truncates it, even though we've still entered something longer. So this is a big mistake that most marketers make. And if you take advantage of these tricks, you can kick the crap out of your competitors, get a higher click-through rate by using this display URL space, and pay less per click than they do. And of course, you'll make more money and get more exposure since you're getting the higher click-through rates. So pay close attention to this. This is a great lesson for you and some little tricks that you definitely want to test. So here are some things you can do with that space. First of all, always use the full display URL space. You're crazy if you don't use it. If you go right now and search several keywords and look at competitors' ads, you'll see so many giant companies don't use it. They're all into branding and they just want to only show their root domain name and they don't want anything else after it. But they're idiots. It's free space. The more space we have to get attention, the more clicks we can get. The higher the clicks we get, the more traffic we get from the AdWords and volume impressions for the ad. And of course, as we've talked about over and over, the lower the click cost is, so we make more profit. Crazy not to use it. So always test. And by the way, you can do a split test, and you should when you really start optimizing things. Run 2 versions of the same ad, one with just your root domain and one with a display URL extension, some kind of custom thing that you use, because sometimes you can find that only using the root domain will get you more clicks. Sometimes people see the root domain as kind of something with more authority and kind of like the thing, since it's just the main site. But usually the display URL, if used properly, will get a higher click-through rate, but it's really easy to test with a split test. So always test using the display URL to have the keyword. And again, this isn't the page necessarily that you're sending people to. It could be, but this display URL can be anything you want. So let's say you're targeting the keyword phrase, how to grow tomatoes. Well, then you'd want to use it as the display URL. So you'd have yourdomain.com or whatever, / how to grow tomatoes. And you want to capitalize the first letter of each word, just like you're going to write the headline and description text, how I already taught you in the previous lesson. And you'll separate these words with hyphens. It makes it easier to read. That's kind of been proven to get higher click rates. Again, you can test it without it, but somebody's already tested this extensively, and when I've used it, it gets higher click-through rates. So at least start with that. Now, if the keyword phrase won't fit, which, for example, this how to grow tomatoes, depending on the length of the domain, that probably won't fit on the screen. They'll cut it off. It may just be how to grow and then TOM or TOMA, and it kind of gets truncated there. Well, then you want to strategically massage that so whatever does show up works in your favor. So you may want to just take out the word to, so it just says how grow tomatoes, if that's going to allow you to get all of tomatoes in there. Or you may want to take out how to and just have grow tomatoes. You'll want to play with that, but you'll want to keep in mind if it gets cut off that you may need to shorten it, even if it doesn't, of course, match the exact keyword phrase. But try testing, of course, having the keyword phrase in that display URL. And of course, Google gives us the bonus of bolding those keywords that are part of the search. You'll want to try testing the call to action. So for example, if you're giving away a free report, use a display URL that says /download free report. It's literally saying what the call to action is. Now, I did this on purpose. That's kind of long, depending on your domain name. That probably isn't going to fit, but you could put like get free report or something free report along those lines, and it will fit. So test different calls to action. Watch video now, view white paper, whatever the call to action is. If it's you're selling an actual product, you can do a variation of the shop now, which we've talked about. If it's anything else like get a quote or anything else, you could put instant quote or get fast quote, something like that, but use that space related to the call to action. You should try testing the title of any giveaway for an opt-in. So for example, again, this is long on purpose to get the point across, but let's say you're giving away some free reports. You could call it whatever it's called. You're not going to be able to fit that in the rest of the ad description. You're just saying that, hey, get a free report now to learn how to lose weight, but you could kind of put the title in the display URL. How great is that? So we could have like 23 weight loss secrets, something very, very enticing, 7 gardening tips. So you may have to shorten that, of course, depending on the length of your domain, but use that display URL as an actual title of the call to action or the thing that you're giving away or that you're promoting inside the ad. You can also try testing using your product type or what it is with an adjective. So let's say it's men's boots or whatever else. You could put something in there that's enticing, like /amazing boots. So the ad's talking about, hey, men's boots, get these cool boots, check them out now, shop now, whatever else. And the URL is amazing boots, or it could be, bulletproof boots, or just, whatever, some other type of adjective or description that makes it more enticing. Try a deadline. This is very powerful stuff. So if you're doing any kind of discount offer that you're mentioning in your headline, and because that's one of the things that you can test. By the way, I forgot to mention that when I was talking about crafting the ads. You could put an offer right there in the headline, like 50% off gardening kits or whatever else, and that usually works pretty well too. It's something you can want to test. But you can use a deadline related to either a giveaway, like a report or video or whatever else, or a special offer if it's a discount, or if it's any kind of like limited product or seems to be a limited product. This works very, very well, this trick. This is something I rarely see. This is more advanced, kind of higher level stuff that really sneaky marketers use that most regular marketers don't. Of course, you don't want to be misleading with your ad. So maybe you're going to have something where your actual sale ends in 7 days, or you're going to take the video down in 7 days. There are several different ways you can actually make that a legitimate thing, but try using it for a deadline and having it, of course, related to either the offer or call to action. Try testing a description of the offer that's enticing as the display URL. So you could be talking about, boots or sweaters or something in the rest, the keyword phrase, men's work boots in the headline text. And then you have all this great description, how great the product is itself. And then your display URL really hits them hard because it's like 50% off. This isn't even mentioned in the ad, but here's the link to this great offer. So that's something you could test. Try testing what I call a format. So let's say if you're promoting a product, or it could be a call to action or anything else, you can describe. So this is all about setting expectations on what's going to happen after the click. So the format describes what it is they're going to see. So if you did like amazing formal dress or something, then the URL is 12 photo tour, or 3D video tour, or five video tutorial, or just something describing what the experience is going to be like for them. Related to the product, detailed illustration or architect blueprint. It just depends on what it is that you're promoting. Last but not least, though, when we get down to the point where we're really isolating our most valuable, keywords and our ad groups, and we're really maximizing profit, one of the things that's really worth testing, which again, this is kind of more advanced level stuff that 90% of marketers never do, is testing a different domain. If you set up a new ad group or even a new campaign, AdWords allows you to promote other websites and domain names in the same account. So let's say you have, let's use the men's work boot thing, okay? Let's say you actually have an online store where you sell all kinds of uniforms, boots, clothing, work pants, whatever. And let's say men's work boots is one of your highest performing keywords. It makes you, several $1,000s a month. It works really, really well. You get a good click rate, you get good conversions. But you want to try to get a greater click-through rate, because the higher that click rate goes, of course, still the same qualified people, you're just going to lower your click costs, which maximizes your profit per click. So one of the things you could do is, if your website, let's say, is something like workproducts.com, or abcworkproducts.com, that's like your main company site where you sell all these products. But you could actually set up a domain name, register a new domain name called like Amazing Work Boots or Best Work Boots. So Google doesn't like you using those kind of superfluous or over the top types of words, like best and number one and all that kind of stuff in your ad copy. However, from what I've seen at least, they typically can't do anything about it if it's your domain name. That's not the ad copy you're using in your ad or on your landing page selectively, or your headline, of course. It's part of your domain. So they have a hard time controlling that, and I haven't really seen too much of a problem with that. Now, if it was a real shady sounding domain, that's an exception. But anyways, you could put something like, best work boots or amazing work boots, or something very specific to that men's work boot keyword that's a lot more specific than ABC work products. The more targeted you are to what it is someone's searching for and apparently being the exact solution they're looking for, the better. So if they're searching for men's work boots and they see your domain name is men's work boot world or something like that, they've hit the jackpot. You're providing exactly the types of products and solutions that they're looking for. So once you isolate, we're going to talk about management and how we're going to break things up and look, kind of what we're looking for in our reports and how we're going to decide what to optimize and work to improve. But in that process, one of the things you can do domain related is literally register a new domain that's really related to the keyword that's giving you great results. Because you're going to find there's a handful of keywords that are going to bring you the most traffic conversions and profit. They're going to be your high performers. You're going to have just a small group of ones that get you the best results. It's like that 80-20 rule. So you're going to find the 20% of keywords that get the 80% of your sales and profit. Well, it's worth setting up some specific domains for some of those. If you can improve that click-through rate by like 2 to 5%, because that could literally be the difference in you netting $5,000 a month in profit from those related campaigns to $7,000, $8,000, or $9,000 in profit if you could really lower your cost per click by dramatically continuing to improve that click rate. And the domain name is certainly one of the ways to do it. So those are some tips for you to keep in mind. Maybe make some notes of this, and always try to test these when you're split testing ads, because these are very, very powerful ways to improve that click-through rate.